is a vital topic of very great concern for all of us, family and the media. Please welcome Reverend Sam Ninan.
Good morning. I want to commend the organizers of this conference for bringing relevant topics like this into the discussion, into our community, because it is sorely needed. And I commend all the organizers, the officials of this conference and other conferences. Now we've had several of these where we bring up these kind of issues, and some of our dear panelists and respected leaders that I've had the privilege of sharing the same platform as Dr. Varghese and I were talking earlier, and dealing with issues that are relevant. And I commend the organizers and the committee for doing that. And I commend all of you for being here and listening and grasping this and working with it and living through this as we are in a spiritual battle, as Pastor Jacob Matthew just mentioned. So I want you to give yourself a hand and the organizers a hand this morning. In the few minutes I have, and I've got a phone also. He's checking me, I'm checking him. Okay. Dr. Matthew and I go back a ways, and he's a great friend, and I appreciate all the efforts that he's done for our community. Let me go right into the topic. It's a mad, mad world. I'm going through these steps here. We are surrounded by media. We are surrounded by media. Music, clothes, technology, entertainment. It's a mad world. But really, is it a mad world? I rephrase it, it's a media world. Media world. So much media. The next slide has that. So much media. I was reading about a family, a poor family in the Appalachian Valley. They lived in a one-room shack. They were in squalid conditions, and the house worker, the social worker came and visited the house, and they found that their newborn baby was sleeping on the floor under a chicken wire cage. The baby was on the floor. There was a chicken wire cage made out of wire, usually that they use to put chickens in. And the worker immediately was going to call the authorities for reporting child abuse. But then the parent, the father, said, no, don't call the child abuse people, because I did that to protect the child. And he couldn't understand what it was. Why did you do that? He said, that cage keeps the rats from gnawing at him at night. Can you imagine such poor conditions, such desperate poverty? None of us can imagine that. But in a real sense, our children are being gnawed at the edges, and their pocketbooks and in their souls, by the media environment that is here, that we are in. We're in 2010, we're dealing with real issues, and media is the world that they are in and the world that you are in. It's hard to define this generation. There are many different terms, the millennials, the busters, the boomers, Generation X, Y, Z, whatever. I like to use the term that most of the young people know. It's Generation @ the @ symbol. Something at google.com, something at whatever your website is. The @ in the middle is where they're at. It's where they're at. Most of the young people that are in our families, they are on the media. They're in the media. It's a media world. The next one, it's an entertainment world. There's so much, a plethora of choices, so many things. The 5 things that I just want to mainly focus on next is online, music, TV, movies, video games. These are vast topics. There's no way to give it justice during this short time. But I wanted to just give you a few things that will help us. Awareness, interaction, getting to know them, getting to work with them as parents, leaders, educators, pastors, and community, working in our Indian community. It's vital. games are a big part of their life. These are some of the games that have just recently came out. Not very good games, I would say, but they are involved in these games. A lot of their free time is spent in games. And you know, some of your kids who are teenagers and young adults, they seemingly have plenty of time to play games on Xbox and PlayStation 3. But as Pastor Jacob Matthew mentioned, when you ask them to come to Sunday school or Bible study or prayer meeting, they don't have time. I always laugh when a young person comes and tells me, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. Really? You were too busy to play 3 and 4 hours of Xbox? And you were not too busy for that. You have plenty of time for that. They'll stay up all night to do that. But the reality is that's where they are. So we have to meet them where they are. Games. Movies is the other one. Their world is about the movies. Some of the movies that are currently out, Toy Story, Karate Kid, Iron Man. These are movies that our kids, whether you realize it or not, they are watching some of these things. Without your knowing maybe, or with your knowing. Their world is a media world. TV is the other thing. All the shows that they are focused on, TV shows specifically geared to young adults, young teenagers, specific age-related shows. And then the music is a big part of their life. Rarely do they get into a car without hitting the music. Rarely are they walking down the road without something in their ears. Rarely can you talk to them without having some kind of musical influence. Their life is surrounded by music, good and bad. So, and then the most prevalent thing is the online world. The next thing. Google, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Flickr, LinkedIn, and then there's all kinds of others. These are the main ones. This is where the world is. This is where the media is. Last year when we were speaking at Houston, at PCNAC, I didn't realize at the end of that little presentation, one of the attendants came to me and said, I just got a phone call from somebody in another state that didn't come to the meeting. They said, I just saw your presentation on YouTube. I said, really? How did that happen? Well, somebody in the audience took a video of me and downloaded it while that was going on, and they already saw it before the presentation was over, live as it was happening. That's the media world. Some of you may be doing it right now. Some of you may be texting right now in the back. I have this problem in our church, and I had to clamp down on this. Some of our young people love to text in the back. I'm sure many of the pastors have dealt with this, are dealing with this. So I gave them a couple of warnings. I said, well, if you keep doing it, I'm going to have to call you out from the pulpit. Your name will be published. So we've cut down a little bit, but it's still a constant challenge. Online, that's where our world is. Just a couple of quick media trends. YouTube users watching less television. One good thing is less television, but more online YouTube. More kids are being exposed to online pornography. Schools are having to take action for cyberbullying. We never had to deal with this kind of issue. Cyberbullying used to be, when I was in school in Chicago, the real bullies would take my lunch money and beat me up. Actual person. I was scared of them when I was a little kid. But now it's cyberbullying, online bullying, and some of the trends that go with that. Time magazine dubbed YouTube as the invention of the year in 2006. Amazing. Internet broadband continues to grow, and all of us have these little gadgets that have internet on it now. So your internet goes with you, and your young people are taking full advantage of it. The demise of Tower Records, music companies, big, giant, multinational companies are going bankrupt because it's all downloaded now, quickly, easily, and they have it right at their fingertips. WebSpeak, online acronym. Some of you are struggling as parents to deal with this. My kids are talking another language. LOL, OMG, BRB. Annivashalla, Verubhashayana. But that's the language they're speaking. They're avoiding emails. Email is old-fashioned. Texting and IM, the online world, instant communication. 3 out of 5 have visited social networking. What's going to happen? Is it going to go away? No. Toshiba just launched this week a dual touch laptop. In other words, they can't get enough of one screen. One screen bora. Two screen vana. That means more space for programs, more for internet, more for surfing, more of this online media-oriented world. The keyboard is even a virtual keyboard. It's a screen. It's not a real keyboard now. That's just come out this week. And then, of course, we know the biggest thing out now is the iPad. And I have a little thing. Since this is a media presentation, I thought I will include a media clip in this thing. Brothers, if you could play that, go ahead and play that.
What is iPad? iPad is thin. iPad is beautiful. iPad goes anywhere and lasts all day. There's no right way or wrong way. It's crazy powerful. It's magical. You already know how to use it. It's 200,000 apps and counting. All the world's websites in your hands. It's video, photos, more books than you could read in a lifetime. It's already a revolution, and it's only just begun.
Already they've sold 3 million of these in 80 days, and it's going up every day. 75 million iPhones have already been sold. 110,000 apps have already been developed for the iPad. As we stand here today in 2010 of June, the iPad is about to take off. അടുത്ത വർഷം 2011 2012 ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സെമിനാർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ we have to update all these statistics. By then it will probably be 7 million or 20 million of these iPads. Maybe some of you will be carrying the iPads. Maybe some of you have it now. iPads are going to revolutionize the way everything involved in media. It's taken off like hotcakes. It's explosion. So the sad fact is, let me move on and let me conclude, getting to the nuts, the real issues here as families, what are we dealing with? As a parent, I have to deal with it. The real truth is, internet pornography is where it's going. I commend Steve Jobs and the whole Apple team for blocking the content for pornography on the iPad and other devices. And he deserves a commendation for that. Some of you can send him a quick email on their website and commend him for that. I think Focus on the Family is doing that, encouraging people to send Steve Jobs an email saying, thank you for blocking pornography on your devices. And that's a great step for the family. But the pornography industry is rampant. 2.5 million emails with pornography in it. 25% of searches are all pornography related. 35% of downloads are pornography related. This is the reality of what's happening. The average age at which a child sees pornography is 11 years old. That's the world that we are in. 20% of men admit to watching porn at work. Let me move forward. 12% of all websites are pornographic. There's 24 million websites. That's a lot of websites. And the industry is huge. 40 million Americans are visiting this. And worldwide, it's a $2.8 billion industry. Huge industry. And a lot of it comes by accidental. 34% say they're accidentally coming onto it. And this is the most interesting thing. The most popular day of the week to view porn is Sunday. ഞായറാഴ്ചയാണ് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ pornography കാണുന്നത്. I wonder why. Next one. Top 5 searches for our young people. You know, Google is not the biggest search anymore. It's YouTube. YouTube is the biggest search now. YouTube, Google is second, Facebook is third, and then 4 and 5, the searches are still related to sex and porn. That's the reality of what's happening today, dear ones. We have to do something. We have to be aware. And I put down a couple of things in my closing, just what we can do. Let's go forward. Tips in handling these sites. Understand what Facebook is. Understand that 60% of your teens are involved in it, maybe 90%. I watch sometimes after church on Sunday afternoon is when most of the kids are on Facebook. ഞായറാഴ്ച ഉച്ച കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടൊന്ന് നോക്കിയേ, മിക്കവാറും സഭക്കാരുടെ പിള്ളേർ, കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾ, നമ്മുടെ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾ They're online. Some of it is good, but some of it is also risky. Understand why your kids want access. They want anonymity. They want privacy. They want to be somebody else. They want to not be overheard by their parents. Understand the dangers of Facebook. The dangers, inappropriate content, the next one, the predators, the control, the experimenting, all these things. So what do? We set boundaries. Set some boundaries. Talk to your children. Talk to your young people. Get into their world a little bit. Set some privacy settings. Make sure their circle of friends is a closed circle. Don't allow new people to come on to them without checking with you. Find out who their real friends are. No personal information should be given. Set limits. Most of the kids are on after midnight. Set a rule in your house. After midnight, no more online access. Take it away from them. Check them regularly and consistently. Talk to them. Talk to them. Enforce that discipline. Consistency. Consistency. And let me close. The next one. The next slide. Keep the computer in a common area of the house, such as the family room or the kitchen. Don't let them have their own privacy in the bedrooms. Too risky. Spend time. Find out how much time they're spending. Have conversations about them. And this is a simple thing. Have family dinner time together. One of the first things I did when I took charge of the church was give one Saturday weekend off. So one weekend off without any meetings. I love meetings. Meetings are fine. But we also need to spend time with our family. Take them to dinner, have them dinner, bring in dinner, cook dinner, do whatever. Sit down together. The research is strong evidence of this. The families that eat together, the children develop more, they stay in church, they have all kinds of positive things happen if they simply eat dinner together. It seems like a simple thing, but it's really important. And let me just conclude with the next couple of things. The next one is don't share, kids, something for the kids also. Don't share personal information. Realize the risk of what you're doing. When you go for a job interview, all the things that you've done online is available, so be careful what you do. Don't give passwords out. Choose your friends carefully. Let me close with these online resources for continuing dialogue. This dialogue doesn't end here. This presentation doesn't end here. These are some helpful websites that you as parents, I encourage all the parents here, when you get back to your home church or home today, tomorrow, next day, whenever, go to Plugged In Online, pluggedin.com, homeward.com, familylife.org. Awesome websites, amazing number of resources. Your kids have a question about some movie they want to see, go on there and check it out. It will give you the good and the bad. It's a very fair and balanced. People that spend millions of dollars on this kind of information to help you to take a stand in this media culture through God's help, through the resources of godly men and women that have invested into our community. We can win this battle. We will win this battle with God's help. Let's work together to do that. Let's continue the dialogue. Thank you for this time.